So, hey, look, I get it. That's something that I struggled with when I was in college and I was first learning how to teach a class. And I actually learned why you have to lie to people through a wonderful class that I took called The Psychology of Education. And it basically broke down the steps that allow people to learn the entire pathway from short-term memory to committed memory, so on and so forth. And it introduced me to a concept that is incredibly useful for everyone to remember, not just teachers. And that's human memory limits. There is a limit to the amount of things, concepts, that you can keep in your brain at one time. And if you come up against that concept limit, then other concepts are going to be lost. And this comes into play when you talk about effective teaching. Why do we not say that force equals mass times acceleration is an approximation from the start? Because the fact that it is an approximation is another element that they have to hold in their short-term memory while trying to commit the rest of this to their memory. It interferes with the process of understanding because it's another thing that their mind has to manage. Like, by most estimates, it's just 7 things. Like, that is the average short-term memory limit. 7 concepts. And people can get around that by clumping certain concepts together. And that's great, but you constantly have to keep that memory limit in your mind whenever you are teaching someone. So you're teaching someone force equals mass times acceleration. They're trying to keep the ideas of force and mass and acceleration and their relationship in their head. That's 4 things already. Adding a 5th one, this isn't true, it's just an approximation, just bogs down their brain. It creates mental processing load. And it creates even more load if they then want to know why it is an approximation. Educational studies show that one of the worst words in education is accept. Like, this is how things are, accept this thing, accept that thing. Like, force equals mass times acceleration, except on the quantum level. That actively interferes with the education process. It is much, much more effective to just teach one concept, and then later on, teach the concept that replaces that. Because then you're never bogging their brain down with accept. They'll already have learned the original lesson. And the new lesson is building upon that after they've already committed it to memory. And this can all be summed up in one piece of advice that I got about teaching in college. It is better for a lesson to be focused than complete.